After 9 years in power, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation on Monday. However, he will remain in position as Prime Minister and Liberal Party head until the party chooses a new leader to take it into the next election.
Resignation on Monday, saying he would leave office as soon as his party chooses a new leader, with slumping polls and internal division taking their toll. After more than 9 years in power, Trudeau's support within the ruling Liberal Party began crumbling in 2024 due to intensifying public criticism focused on the rising cost of living. A subdued Trudeau told a press conference that he would stay as the Prime Minister until the party chooses a new chief.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process.
His authority was then shaken by the surprise departure last month of his Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, Chrystia Freeland. Across the country, Trudeau's resignation did not surprise. Trudeau's Liberals are trailing badly in the polls to the opposition Conservatives.
This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Trudeau took office in November 2015 with a message of hope and sunny ways and won re-election twice. But his popularity started dipping 2 years ago as prices of groceries and housing rose in the post-COVID period and his fortunes never recovered. Canadian media have tipped Freeland as a possible Liberal leader. Trudeau has received permission from Canada's Governor-General to suspend all parliamentary business until March 24. That could give the Liberals time to choose a new leader while restricting the opposition's chances to bring a vote of no confidence. Bureau Report, TD India.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's plans to resign has put a question mark to the nation's politics. What more does future holds for Canada as Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to stay in office and lead Liberals until transition? Special leadership conventions need to be organised to choose the successor. Parliament to remain suspended until March 24th. Opposition parties had planned to unveil non-confidence motions as soon as they could after January 27. Now they will have to wait until May. New election unlikely to be held before May at the earliest. If Liberals stay in power till Parliament's summer break, then an election would be held at the end of October. Trudeau already asked his party to choose the new leader. Shortened contest likely to ensure Trudeau's replacement is in office as soon as possible. Liberal President Sachin Mehra to call a meeting of the party's national board this week to begin the process. Polls indicate Liberals to lose the election no matter who the leader is. Contenders include Innovation Minister Francois Philippe Champagne, Transport Minister Anita Anand, Foreign Minister Melanie Joly also in the race. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland could also join the race. All right, let's go across to my colleague Anil Thomas is joining us live from Delhi. Anil, Justin Trudeau's announcement that he would step down as Canada's Prime Minister was expected after he faced political struggles in recent months, but a stunning fall for a leader once so beloved. Tell us what led to his downfall.
Well, good morning, Abhishek. Well, very much on the expected lines. This was the story that was almost there, making the headlines as soon as we crossed the new year. And I think this was the inevitable. His ratings had plummeted from as good as 63% when he began to as low as 32%, even hovering around 25%. His party's fortunes had plummeted even further. A recent poll suggested that, Liberals had as good a chance, or a 16%, people favored them back in power. So they were looking at a huge drubbing in the elections, that are expected in October. Having said that, inflation, not being able to keep that under check has been a huge cause of concern. Immigration, other cause of concern that has affected Trudeau badly. Internal rebellion within the rebels has been, the biggest factor that's led to his downfall. I think even while going out, he's not missed out an opportunity to take a jab at the opposition. And I think he leaves the door open. You mentioned about almost 5 candidates there in the race. And I think it leaves the door open. His ratings plummeting on one front. Secondly, the frozen ties that, with Trump coming in and, a likely sanction on Canada as good as 25%, clearly not helping things move ahead. And I think that's where Trudeau understood that, the journey ahead could be filled with, more speed breakers than what he expected. And I think it's a good time to exit. He's had a great role to play in Canada's development for the last 1 decade. And I think though he has hit a low, I think he's still signed off on a high.
He will be a caretaker Prime Minister till his successor is chosen. Tell us, how will Liberal Party choose a new leader? What is the process that will be followed now?
Well, now since the parliament is suspended, there is a lot of internal meetings that could take place. We have seen close to 5 to 6 names that have been floated. And I think you'll have to get your house quickly in order. Looking at the ratings that are plummeting, you will have to, it could be, if they are not able to arrive at a consensus, they would go with somebody who's going to be an adjustment. Trudeau is going to stay as the interim prime minister till the time being they are able to find a replacement. But in case there is no consensus, I think it could be doom for Liberals. The Conservatives are sensing an opportunity to get back in power. But if they are unable to arrive at a leader, especially a consensus point, who's not selected, but who's rather selected through the caucus, it's going to be tough, especially facing the people, because that's never happened before in the history of Canada. And I think the going gets tougher, especially for the Liberals looking at the position that they are currently in. When your ratings are down, when your leaders don't have the backing, especially Trudeau, who was considered to be a darling today, has lost that, charm with the people. And with Trump time and again taking a jab at Canada, calling Trudeau the governor of Canada. Not only that, even today, after the news of the resignation that's trickled in, Trump has indicated that, it's nice that if Canada could become the 51st state of United States of America. Having said all that, it doesn't go down well with the people. I think the people in Canada would be more agitated, at least looking at the political chaos that is before them. The opposition don't have the numbers, but the Liberals are a house in disarray. That's where people would be left with no option. But this is a great opportunity there for the opposition to seize this particular moment and make it count. But Liberals finding a leader, in that midst of names that we have said, they're all big names. It could start with Freeland, who's a favorite to, win this election. She was the one who caused the biggest problem there with that resignation in December 15. She could be the front runner. But in Canada, front runners generally don't end up winning. So, there is a lot of ifs and buts that could take place. But the Liberals deliberating in-house could be interesting to watch out for. Who do they, pick? Because the person that they pick is the person that is going to lead the Liberals into the elections. So very well knows that he or she's got his back to the wall. Remember, if you are elected as a leader, you go to the elections, your ratings are at an all-time low. So you are looking at defeat in that elections that follow. So, it's a tough hat to wear, I would say, for any leader who's getting selected, because the time frame that he or she has is not much where a turnaround can happen. And I think with Trump coming in America on the 20th of Jan, it could be really a tough call, especially among the front runners, to find a likely candidate who's also palpable or who's also got friendly ties with Trump and his party. And I think that's where the tough calls will have to be made. Especially 6 names there in the order, but I would not be surprised if you could get, somebody who's a nobody there taking the Liberals into the elections of 2025.
All right, a lot of whips and busts in Canada. We'll see what happens next. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for your views, Anil.